So look.
Okay, I think.
Yeah, where's the comments? Where's the comments?
There we go.
Oh, there.
Now we're live.
Yes.
Hi everyone, it's Lisa Rubel from Quilty Zest and Benji, my 10-year-old. And we are here tonight for another Facebook Live. Benji. Yes, I see. There's poll questions. Ben has been thinking of questions to ask for our audience to respond to.
Yes. Leave a comment when you join in. Just let us know who you are and where you're from.
And when I did this last month without Benji, for some reason the comments were not working for me. So I was doing the video and I found out later that you all could see the video and could make comments, which was great, but I wasn't sure for some of it if I was doing the video to an audience or just to myself. So I can see we've got 10 people viewing. I'm not seeing comments coming up for us, so if you are leaving comments, I know Dawn will take care of them if we don't end up seeing them, but we're not ignoring you. Facebook just apparently doesn't like letting us see comments during Facebook Live. Maybe because you spend so much time looking at them. What do you think? So we're going to get started in a minute or two. We're just going to wait, let a couple more people join. Before we get started, I was just going to show you a little project that I've made. We're using Find Your Way fabric again tonight. This is not tonight's project, but this is a little mini landscape quilt I made called Wish You Were Here. And I designed this for QuiltCon. It is a smaller and different version of my postcard views quilts, which is one of my patterns using Find Your Way. And this is available as a free download on my website. You just have to know where to go to find it. So if you go to the shop on quiltyzest.com and scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see it hiding there, and you can download the pattern for free, print it out, and make it. It's all fusible web applique using my Find Your Way fabric. So if you'd like to go and grab that, go ahead. Like I said, it's on quiltyzest.com. Click on the shop and then scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see it hiding there. I wanted to make it a little bit of a, I don't know, scavenger hunt, or a little trickier for people to find because it is a freebie. But since you all are our loyal ThermoWeb audience, I wanted to share it with you. Okay. So, if you're just joining us, welcome. Like I said, we are not seeing the comments tonight, but I can tell there are people watching because I can see the little eyeballs, and I know Dawn will be there listening to all of your questions and whatnot, and hopefully can answer things. And we'll let Benji do his poll comments. We just won't be able to see the answers until later. I don't know why Facebook has done this to me 2 months in a row. But let's talk about tonight's project. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to start out by talking about what we did in your class. Okay? So you want to open this up while I do that? So 2 weeks ago, I went into Benji's 5th grade class, and I do a presentation, and I've done this since 2018, where I talk about what quilting is. I do a little trunk show, and then I show them how I use math on a daily basis in my job for writing quilt patterns, editing quilt patterns, that type of thing. And because kids, they say, what am I going to use math for? So this is my way to show them, hey, this is how I use math on a daily basis. It started out with a career day, and just I enjoyed it so much, I do it every year. I have the mouse, thank you. And so I'm going to switch our views right now so you can see what I then give the kids at the end of the presentation. And so I give them this little printout of graph paper with some block ideas, and then all these cutouts of brightly colored paper. We have squares, and we have rectangles, and we have half square triangles. And it's really fun to see what the kids come up with in the class. And if you go to either my ThermoWeb blog post, or if you get the emails, I know it was in today's email, I believe, and then also on the Facebook page I put on the ThermoWeb Facebook page today, Facebook post, I show some of the projects that some of the kids had made. And what cracks me up about this is the first time I did this, I was really worried that I wasn't giving the kids the same number of colored pieces, that they were, getting one pink, one yellow, one orange. And I thought, how can they make a block if they don't have, all the same colored triangles so they could make their Ohio star? And really discounting how creative these kids were going to be. And so Benji is showing you his favorite thing to make out of these, which is a
turtle.
A turtle, yes. But the kids did some really creative things. Some were geometric. Someone this year made a dinosaur. It's just really fun to see what they do with all the different colored shapes. And they've never met the quilt police, so they're not constricted by what a quilt block should be, which I think is what makes it a lot of fun. So I had fun doing this for Benji's class, took some pictures of what the kids made out of their paper. Hopefully they took them home and played a little bit more. And then decided that for our project for tonight that we would do the same thing but using fabric instead. And so Benji's going to show you his project first. He actually made the turtle out of fabric. And of course, we are using Find Your Way fabric, which is my line with Benartex, which is in quilt shops now. And so Jojo, Ben, and I each made a block. And that was my only requirement, that they had to use Find Your Way fabric. So this is what Benji's looks like. And this is Jojo's. His is much more like a traditional block, which I thought was really interesting and looks like it could be pieced. And it absolutely could be pieced, but this is all fused. And then mine. Put mine on top. Yep. And then here is mine. And mine, in theory, could be pieced as well. But what's really fun about making blocks just with fusible web is that there's no restraints of how will these two pieces fit together and how do I sew this and that type of thing. And that just really opens up the door for a lot of creativity. And so let's move our little papers out of the way. So we're going to show you how, don't throw that out because we're going to keep this. Every year I make a couple too many and then I can use them again the next year. So we're going to show you how we made this happen. And Benji, well, you know what? I forgot to bring the iron over. So, yes, why don't you talk a little bit about your turtle while I grab the iron, okay? Hold your turtle up.
What's this for?
And talk about it.
What's this for?
I'll tell you in a minute.
What am I supposed to talk about?
Talk about your turtle. How did you decide what colors to do for the shell?
What? Okay, so I was gonna just do 4 squares, like square, 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 and then she had the idea to do half square triangles, and then I've done this same turtle design many times in the class when she comes in and does the presentation. So yeah, figured it'd be easy and nice and quick.
And it's more interesting having those triangles instead of just having the squares, right?
And we got the iron.
Okay, yes, we have the iron. So I'm going to show you what products we're using for this. Our main, let's leave it up for now though. I know, we do that when we're using it. So the main player tonight is the Heat and Bond Light Sewable. And that's what we use to fuse the little fabric pieces to our background fabric. But then also have the pressing paper that we use to protect both the iron and our surface when we are fusing those pieces down.
And the fusible fleece.
And that's what we used as the batting layer when we made our blocks into these little mini quilts.
Instead of actual batting.
Yep. Well, it is the same,
is
but it's
batting.
fusible, so you don't have to baste it because it fuses right to your fabric with heat.
Iron on.
Yes, it is iron on. So what I did, all of the pieces I'm going to switch back to the other view. Okay, all of the pieces that we used are based on 2-inch squares. So we've got 2-inch squares, and then the rectangles is a 2-inch square that's been cut in half.
And then our half square triangles
is also a 2-inch square that is cut in half, right?
Yep.
So I chose, we're going to use this in a second because we're going to show how we made this. I chose 5 different colors from Find Your Way for all the 3 of us to use, and because I liked having the light and the dark of each of these maze prints. So what we did, hang on. So what we did is we cut a 2.5-inch wide strip of fusible and a 2.5-inch, a little bit more than 2.5-inch wide strip of fabric. And I did mine by 10. Okay, but I want to slide it this way so we don't get the iron on the mat, right? And then you just center that strip on the fabric, on the wrong side of the fabric. And remember, you got to keep your hand on the iron. Here, you want to do this? Put the pressing paper down. That protects everything.
Was I supposed to?
And we're fusing that heat and bond light to our fabric strip. Okay. Thank you. Great. Okay. So now once that is done, then we're going to trim it down to 2 inches. And by doing it by 10, that means I can cut 5 squares out of this piece. And from those squares, then I can kind of decide if I'm going to do squares, rectangles, or triangles. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah? Okay, so I'm just going to subcut.
Can you leave this?
You want a longer piece?
I want this.
Sure.
And then the same thing of this.
Of the teal? Okay.
And then I don't care if you cut
Okay.
those.
I told Benji you want to make them the same size?
Yeah.
That he was in charge of designing another project tonight, so he's got something in mind. So I would just cut things into squares, and then to make the rectangles, I just cut those squares in half.
Same thing with these.
Okay. Keep your fingers far enough away from, I know what the measurement is. I just don't want to cut your fingers, okay? So, and then, oops, you know what, these might not be, I don't think I cut that yellow one quite right. Okay.
It looks right.
It's a little thinner. So then to cut the squares, to cut the triangles, I just turn my ruler on edge. And then I end up with triangles. I'm going to cut one of these into a triangle. So I did that with those 5 colors, 6 colors, the 2 teals, the 2 oranges, and the 2 yellows. And just gave each of the boys a bunch of these little shapes to play with.
Where's the glove?
And nope.
No, I'm trying something.
Okay. So then what we did is we worked with 10.5-inch squares for our background. Okay, Benji?
I'm finding out how thick
I understand, but right now I'd like to focus on this, okay?
Yeah, you do it.
So we worked with a 10.5-inch square as the background, and Benji chose for the second project, in the first one with his turtle, he used dark teal fabric, the Cairns teal, so it looked kind of like water because he had a turtle. So for this next one, he's got a plan in mind. I don't know what it is, but he chose this white fabric. This is a great background print. It's called Waypoint, and he's going to do his design there. So what I had each of the boys do was, yeah, it's a little narrow.
I know. Can you cut the other ones like that?
Okay. What I had each of the boys.
Pillars and then like triangles.
Great.
Like little castles.
Okay, I'm trying to talk.
Okay.
Okay. What I had each of the boys do was use the shapes that I had cut and plan their design on the cutting board first. And then once they had a design in mind, Benji wants these a little thinner than the 2 inches. Once they had a design in mind, we moved over to the ironing surface and they did their design there. And in JoJo's case, because he had made this block where everything had very specific places to go, we actually took a picture of his layout before we moved over to the iron so that he could recreate it. You can also just start right on the ironing surface. I did not, mostly because I had both of them doing this at the same time, and we just didn't have enough space for both.
Can I switch this to the back?
No. I'd like you to do your design on here, okay?
Okay,
So
wait. Can I have the fabric scissors?
can you work with what we have?
Oh no.
Okay, I know, but I'd like you to work with what we have tonight, okay? Because we've got people watching who want to see what we're doing. So you're going to take... Okay, so do you want to just work right on the ironing surface then?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's slide it over a little bit for you. So Ben's taking the paper off right away. And so he's just going to work right on his ironing surface. You want to make sure that you don't get too comfortable with your ironing surface and your cutting surface being next to each other. We had a little cutting mat accident the other night when someone who might be sitting next to me kind of forgot which was which and put the iron down on the cutting mat. So just be careful that you don't do that. These 2-in-1s are so handy, but that is a danger there.
You say something?
Hmm?
You said something.
Yes, I was talking about you. It's okay.
What?
It's not a big deal.
I know.
Not a big deal. So are you going to use any of these pieces as well?
Yeah.
These other shapes? Okay.
Yeah. I'm not just making 4
Okay.
pillars.
So like I said, we worked with a 10.5-inch square. And if you're looking to do something where you have a project that's centered, like JoJo's here that I'm holding up, or like mine, what you may want to do is fold your square in half in both directions and press it real lightly along those fold lines so that you know where the center of your square is. You can always trim the square later.
Oh no, I'm just making 3/4 of an inch.
Oh, and Benji's making sure his are all evenly spread out. And we opted to go with a 10.5-inch square because it would finish at 10. And with using 2-inch pieces, it seemed like going with 12, it would be too many. So we kind of had it, by having 10, we figured you could fit 5 across, but we wouldn't have to worry about just having too much space to work with. So you want to talk about what you're doing right now?
Okay, so right now I am ironing these pillars on.
And what is your vision here?
Okay, so I'm going to put triangles on the top, and I'm going to make 4 little castles.
Oh, nice. Nice. And even though we can't see the answers since we're not seeing comments, do you want to ask one of your questions? I know you like doing that.
Okay,
Here,
so
let's go back to your face for a second.
What is the hottest it has gotten where you live?
So, for those of you who are new here, we are in Michigan, and we definitely do not have any snow, but we've had, what's our hottest? I think we had 76.
We had something up there.
I think we had 76, but tomorrow we're supposed to get some snow. Not that it's going to accumulate, but it's definitely going to flurry tomorrow. And we've got spring break around the corner, so everyone is kind of not wanting the snow to be here because it feels like it should be springtime. So I know if we've got people watching from the south, they may have had
spring.
They may, well, yes, they may have had 70 all winter long, but we'll see. We'll see if people are answering that. We'll check out the comments later on and see.
Once we finish, and then we could go post the video.
And
look at it.
I'm also guessing that Dawn has posted something in the chat about leaving a comment for a chance to win a ThermoWeb gift card. And so if you haven't done that, make sure that you do. What's up? Nope, I'm good.
No, but you can look on it.
So you're making a castle with these. Are you going to do anything besides your 4 towers?
So yes, I'm going to take some of these rectangles and I'm going to make curves at the top with some scissors, and then I'm going to make little windows.
Okay.
For my towers.
Great.
But first comes
Yep. And
the top.
you absolutely can do this with any shape that you want Remember, you have to hold the
I
iron.
know it's getting.
And what
getting on my
here, let's
nerves.
put this down too. And what you want to make sure too, as you're doing all these small shapes, you want to make sure that you're not moving the iron back and forth. Once you have the pressing paper on top, it's better, but you want to press down and then lift up and not move it around, because sometimes you can catch the edge of the fabric and fold it back. But what I was starting to say before then is I chose these 3 shapes because they were easy to cut when I had to make 50 little kits for the 2 classes that I did this project for. You can absolutely, here, you want to use this? Cut different shapes, or have whoever you're doing this with, if you're doing this with kids or grandkids, let them cut different shapes as well. You don't have to just stick with the rectangles, squares, and triangles. And so Benji has a plan to cut little, oh, okay.
Little windows.
Okay. How about I cut and you fuse?
Right.
Okay, what color do you want the next one out of?
Okay, so I'm gonna do the opposite color for all of them. So yeah, like a circle window.
Okay.
Like a window for
Okay.
that.
I can do that.
And remember, like this short. Actually, can I cut them, please?
Sure, you cut.
'Cause
Okay, I'll peel the paper off of. So I did a project similar to this with my nieces and nephews several years ago over the holidays. I had all kinds of little leftover schnibbles of fusible from a project that I had done. And I just let the kids go wild and figure out what they could come up with. And it was really neat. Some of them, same thing as with those paper ones. Some people made something that looked more like a quilt block, and someone made a rainbow, and they did some cutting as well. And then I ultimately turned those into a table runner for their mom, where I put all of the different blocks together with some solid fabric as sashing and borders. And so if this is a project that you are doing with kids, it's really fun. Here, get on camera. Your hands. It's really fun to do something with it to share down the road. And this is a great way, sometimes you're not ready to have a kid using the sewing machine, or they don't want to. This is a really nice way to get a kid involved with the shapes and with the creativity part of sewing, of doing things with fabric without actually doing sewing on the machine. So you can decide if you trust them with the iron or if you trust them with the good scissors. But everyone in our house is trained about the good scissors, right? What do we use the fabric scissors for? Fabric. Anything else? No, never, right?
But they're really nice scissors.
They are really nice scissors, yes.
They can cut through like anything.
Yes. Do you all have a fabric-only scissors? I really like that meme where it shows the fabric-only scissors having a padlock on it. I think that is a great idea. Okay, Benji's got... Do you want to make a sunshine up here?
Sure.
Yes? Should I cut you a sun? Yes or
Sure.
no? Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
I will cut you a sun. Great.
What's the
Anything else, or are you good?
Yes, actually. Could I get like a particularly long strip of that with fusible?
Well, maybe later. I don't know that we
Okay, can you peel
have time
these?
for that tonight. Sure, I would be happy to peel these for you. That is... See,
Can we make this into a pillow eventually?
When you get kids involved in this kind of project, then suddenly you become the helper rather than the master sewer. Are they all okay? So Benji just asked if we could make this into a pillow. If you are going to make a project like this into something that's going to be used a lot, I recommend... Yep.
They're not in the right place.
Yes, they are.
Barely.
Okay.
Can you fix...
Okay, here, you fix them.
Yeah.
I recommend doing a zigzag stitch around the edges of your shapes. As, a pillow will be handled a lot, and you want to give that little bit of extra support to the fusible. For our projects, because they're little mini quilts that either can sit on a table or can hang on a wall,
work.
They can go under a plant.
Oh, what does this sense?
Can you...
What does it sense?
Underneath. It senses underneath. We did not stitch them down. We just did the quilting, and that worked. Oh, Ben has figured out where the sensor is on our Elisa Smart Iron so that he doesn't have to keep his hand on top. You know, that's a safety feature, you know, right? Okay. Okay, I think you're done with that. Great. Okay. Okay. Very nice. Great. Okay. That looks good.
Eventually, I'll put some grass down here.
Okay.
A fabric.
And then what you can do with this, if you want to make it bigger, or if you want to make a couple, but you can put a border around them or put a couple together and make a table runner. I actually was thinking about turning this one, making a couple more of these blocks and turning it into a table runner. I think that would be fun. And do you want to show off? Here, show off. We'll show it on the back and tell them about your machine quilting.
Okay, so yeah, it's pretty wonky. But yeah, so first time I took the
free motion foot.
the free motion foot, and I did my own stitches. Yeah, as you can see, it's very wonky. I had a lot of mess ups, but
you know what? It's a great first effort. And what you can really see, like this was his first line, I think, and then you can see down the road they got much smoother. So small projects like this are a really nice way to practice machine quilting if that's not something you've done a lot of. And if you look at JoJo's here, you cannot see it on the back. He's got this cool stripe on the back, but it hides the lines. But because he did a contrasting thread, you can see it pretty well on the front. You can see all his yellow stitch lines. And what he did is he started out doing a stitch line down basically the line that's created from all these fused pieces, and then used that as his guide to make all of the extra lines. You don't have to necessarily mark it in that way.
Could you cut this real quick?
Sure. Okay. Benji's still going on his. So it's really fun to see what you can make out of different shapes. And like I said, you don't have to be limited to squares, rectangles, and triangles. You can get a scissors out and do all kinds of fun things, and then just fuse them in place. Ben's got one more idea. Okay.
Make it like wonky.
Make it wonky.
Yeah, like maybe like that.
Okay.
Just
there's no quilt police here. You can do whatever you want in terms of the shapes, and then just it's kind of using fabric like markers or colored pencils or something like that, because you're essentially creating a shape, using fabric instead of drawing utensils. Now you're putting grass on it.
Yeah, like grass-ish, kind of.
Fantastic.
Could you peel it for me?
That is great.
You.
Okay. Hey, did you want to ask another question before we're done here? Because I think we are just about done. You don't have another question?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, I am curious. I have not seen any spring flowers here yet. I know I've seen people on Facebook that live in town that have crocuses popping up. I have not seen any, so I'm curious if any of you who live in a non-tropical climate have seen any flowers popping up. Whoop.
Easy.
And that was just some
Benji cutting.
Unsanctioned use of the rotary cutter, Benjamin.
But I did it good.
I know. I just don't want you to cut your fingers. We have a rule in our house that you have to be 12 to use a rotary cutter. How do you feel about that, Ben?
I feel about it like I feel about the new law that makes it so I can't sit in the front seat until I'm 13.
Michigan just passed changed the rule, and you have to be
13
to sit in the front seat of the car, and Ben was eagerly awaiting getting to do that as he's gotten taller and bigger, and it was just, now he's got 2.5 more years to wait. He's not happy.
Why do they do this?
I know. So, hey, what is your favorite quilt that we showed during the presentation to your class?
Ooh, probably that last one.
What's the last one?
The one we always show last.
Oh, the Minecraft quilt?
No, the one before that.
Oh, the rainbow?
The rainbow.
Yep.
That's
Follow the rainbow. Yes,
That's
we have
my fave.
the boys made blocks out of Minecraft blocks. There's a whole free tutorial for a bunch of blocks.
It's
Kelly Fannin.
Minecraft Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly Fannin Minecraft Mondays.
And so we have a quilt made out of that. That's always the most popular one when we do the
not.
show
It's
in
really
the
not.
class.
It's the other one.
I think it is. Yeah, and the rainbow one. Kids like rainbow quilts. We have a rainbow one behind us today, but not that rainbow one. This is
Oh, we have wonky stripes.
Yep.
Wonky spirals.
Wonky spirals. So
Part
cool.
2.
Okay, so you're doing your grass, and then are you done?
And then I think I should be done.
Okay, fantastic.
Can you peel this? Real
Oh
quick?
yeah, one more to
Okay,
peel.
I got
So.
it.
So again, we still for some reason are not able to see the comments today, but
We will look later.
we will look later. I'm sure Benji will do some responding, but thank you for everyone
yes.
who came tonight. I am guessing that Dawn is doing the pick for who's winning the gift cards.
Yes,
So
if that's been done already, congratulations. If it hasn't, good luck.
I know you don't use the iron that much, so you're not used to it. But you know what? It's really nice because your arm doesn't get tired.
I'm gonna pawn your arm.
Your wrist doesn't get tired of going up and down. So.
As we finish this up, yeah.
And then, you know what? When Benji finishes this, we'll make sure to post it. I'll come back and post it in the ThermaWeb craft room. But you can also keep an eye on what I'm doing and what Benji is doing sometimes. He comes and goes with the fabric projects. On Instagram, I'm at Quilty Zest. Also Facebook, Quilty Zest, and then my website is also Quilty Zest. Real easy when they're all the same.
Okay. But yes, a final look. Finished it up. Bah.
Looks nice.
Oh shit, I gotta fix one more thing.
Okay, we'll keep holding it up to make sure everyone saw it. You can go back and tighten it up later. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We definitely miss talking with everyone in the comments. So last time I thought it was a fluke, but now that it's happened twice in a row, we'll have to figure out why that might be happening before our one in April.
Come on, Jeff Bezos. What's going on?
See what we're going to make in
Wait, no,
April.
Is that Steve
No.
Jobs?
No. Okay.